Hello and welcome to Meet the Newsmakers. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with the Mayor of Hopson City, Alberta McCrory. Madam Mayor, it's always a pleasure to have you on our show.
And good morning, John, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, you're welcome. And now in August, you received a very prestigious award. We have it right here.
Yes.
National Mayor of the Year.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that, because that's a big deal.
It is a big deal to be recognized by such large organizations, because the National Black Business League has over 120,000 members.
Wow.
And the National Black Chamber of Commerce has over 200,000 with traditional and internet businesses.
Oh, wow.
And they combine in terms of this conference. We also have with them the World Conference of Mayors that was started by Mayor Johnny Ford from Tuskegee some years ago. They just celebrated their 40th year. And the National Business League just celebrated their 124th year.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yes, and so this came as a surprise, although I meet with a lot of these people on a weekly basis. We have a weekly Zoom meeting with people from across the country, different leaders, mayors, council members, and just community members at large, professors and so forth, you know, talking about our communities and things and how we can collaborate and help our communities. And that's what this organization is all about. And so, you know, I feel like at least 500,000 more people knows about Hopson City now than they did before. And, you know, being part of this organization has helped. And, you know, I was saying to someone just the other day, you know, that, you know, having this title is one thing. Now, how do I make that work for Hopson City?
How do you leverage that for Hopson City?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
So, this award is, how do they notify you? Is this like the Nobel Peace Prize? You get a phone call and they say, hey,
yes.
guess what?
Yes,
Really?
yes. And I tell people, and then I had a phone call and an email. And I think it just didn't soak in at first, you know, just not really thinking about, you know, what this really meant. And I had attended the conference last year in Atlanta. And I think maybe the night of the banquet, there may have been 1,000 people there.
Wow.
And this time, we were told long before the cutoff date that they had to cut it off because so many people were registering to, you know, to attend the event. And so I'm told that over 3,000 people registered for that event. And I believe the night of the gala, that there were more than 2,000 people there in that room. So I think maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people there at the Hilton, and to be there, and you know, a little girl from Hopson City.
And you spoke. You spoke to them, right?
Yes, and so, but I just spoke, you know, when I got my award, because there were other awardees. Last time I had a little bit more time to speak, and but this time, you know, just to know that, you know, talking about Hopson City and the work that we're trying to do in Hopson City, that there are people out there who hear our cry, and people who can help us move some things ahead in our community.
Now put that in perspective, because National Black Business Conference, and there's how many black mayors in the country? Do you know?
You know, that's a good question.
There's
but
probably
it's one that I
thousands and thousands. Yeah. And Hopson City, population 300.
About 800.
About 800. Okay. Small city.
Small city.
Small town. And you're the national mayor. It's got to be one of the smallest.
You know, absolutely. Maybe about 3 years ago, I ended up on the cover of a newspaper in Milwaukee that I knew nothing about. And Ms. Katie Powers from Hopson City has a cousin in Milwaukee who called her to tell her, your mayor is on the front page of our newspaper. And so she told me, and so he sent her a copy, and naturally I got a copy of it. And it was just these women all over the country whose names you would recognize a whole lot quicker than you would recognize mine. And I don't know how that came about, but I do know that being a part of the African American Mayors Association, which I've never attended that meeting simply because it's so expensive and you have to pay your own way. And so I've never gone to that meeting, but we are members, and we are members of the National League of Cities, and we take advantage of those seminars and workshops and things that they have for us. In fact, we were in Chicago recently, I believe it was June of this year, for a HUD conference about housing that we are looking forward to submitting an application to see about getting some things done on that level. So at any rate, there are lots of black mayors across the country, men and women, and I'll have to look that up just to see how many there are.
Well, there's got to be thousands and thousands,
Yes.
and you're number one.
And and so I'm sure there are those people who are saying, now who is that woman? And
Where
she's
is
from
Hopson City?
Alabama. And she's from Alabama. And then to say that she's from the oldest black incorporated city in Alabama, then some people probably say, oh, okay, so that's who she is. So
Yeah, and then
that's
they look at this little city.
Yes.
It's like the little engine that could. You just
Yes.
keep going and going and going.
Absolutely.
And so Hopson City's not the oldest incorporated black city in the country, is it?
No, it's not. And we're learning more and more about incorporated black cities because Princeville, North Carolina, was chartered back in the 1700s.
Really?
Yes, and in recent years, we thought Mound Bayou, Mississippi was the oldest. Then we were told that Eatonville, Florida is the oldest. Eatonville and Mound Bayou, they're about 5 or 6 months apart in terms of their incorporation. And so then the list kind of starts getting a little longer, and Hopson City gets pushed a little bit further down the line.
That's the oldest one in Alabama.
But we are sure of that. Absolutely.
And you've been working very, very hard to bring businesses and stuff into Hopson City. Now your population is about 800, right? And I was looking at some census data. I don't know how accurate it is, but in comparison to the county overall, your employment rate is a little higher. The people living in Hopson City have about a 61% of them are employed according to the census, like 53 over the entire county. And I think your median income, if the census is right, is about 46,000 compared to 53,000 for the county. So you guys are doing well compared to the county. Now, of course, everybody can do better, but
okay, let me just back up with that in terms of those numbers. There's Hopson City, and then there's Hopson City.
Okay.
Okay, because there's an area in Hopson City, Bob White Drive in Oxford, and they have an Oxford mailing address, but the land is in Hopson City. And so that gets counted, so you have the $200,000 or $300,000 homes in that area, and you have the higher income levels in that area as well. And so that makes us look like we are doing better.
Is that okay? Now you're a mayor. You're trying to get funding. You're trying to develop that part of Hopson City that we're familiar with, and then you've got this aberration out there. Does that help or hinder you?
I think it hinders. I think it hinders because, and then sometimes, and you have to be so careful about what you read on the internet, because you look on the internet, sometimes they're talking about condominiums in Hopson City. There are no condominiums in Hopson City, Yeah. And we just, in recent years, were able to, people who have homes there and who've sold their property there, we were excited about a young man there by the name of Renard McGrew, who has been renovating homes in that area. And the first house, I think he renovated and sold for over $100,000. And so people got really excited about that because the property value has been so low in Hopson City. And so that has been a good thing because now people can expect to sell their property, those who want to, and then there are people who want to live in Hopson City. They know that they can get a better home or something that they want to live in and pass on because of that. And so, so some things are looking much better than they were, but we are not at that level. And when it comes to the unemployment, we know that those figures are not right.
They're not right. Now, does Hopson City have a property tax that you collect?
Yes.
So that section of the city that's got those $300,000 houses, you're able to collect that property
Absolutely.
tax? Okay.
The property taxes and the taxes from the power company. We know that comes. Now they get water from Oxford, not from Hopson City. And then those with the natural gas, it comes. So we get those taxes.
Okay.
And see that, and that's the thing about Hopson City, not only on that end of town, but so we have Hopson City here, we got the Bob White Drive, and then on the north end of town, because that's on the west end of town. And so if you're going this way, you're going north, okay. And so then you have Glendale Subdivision. And Glendale Subdivision was developed particularly for African American people, for middle-income people back in the 70s. And then there is land, there are several homes when you come into the Glendale area that are in Hopson City. That property is Hopson City.
Okay.
But they have the Anniston mailing address, and there's an article in the newspaper where at that time the developer said that Anniston Waterworks would not supply them with water if they did not annex that area into Anniston and not Hopson City. That's in the newspaper.
That's interesting.
That's in the newspaper. So, but we get the property taxes from that, and also the taxes from the power company utilities.
Always
not
fighting.
From the water. Yes.
Always fighting. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk more about that. Stay with us here on Meet the Newsmakers.
You may not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 23-24 Silverado light duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 24 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox. 24 models, you got it. 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Look, have you ever had a bank give you money for anything? Family Savings actually pays me for keeping my money at their credit union. I earned interest of 3% APY on my checking account and 1.5% APY on my savings, just for what I was already doing at my old bank. I even get up to $20 per month in ATM fee returns. It's kind of nice to get paid for just using my checking account.
Open an Engage account at Family Savings Credit Union and get rewarded. Family Savings, your best financial friend.
Penguin's Bar and Grill. Come down for our amazing bar, stocked with everything you could want, and our amazing food, ranging from whole pizzas all the way to oysters. Our food is cooked fresh and brought to you with amazing service. For the best food and drinks, come to Penguin's Bar and Grill.
At Alexandria Brake and Muffler, we strive to perform exceptional service using premium quality parts to ensure your vehicle withstands the test of time. We do all automotive maintenance and repairs consisting of AC service, check engine light diagnostics, brakes, coolant, and exhaust. Give us a call today. Proudly serving our community to provide honest, high-quality service and repair at a fair price.
At Family Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Olobidi. I would like to welcome you to our clinic, which is virtually your clinic. We strive to provide a family environment from our nurses as well as the practitioners we have in the clinic to serve you and your family members. We pride ourselves for having state-of-the-art facility here in the clinic to include ultrasound, fibroscan, to check on your liver. We welcome you in our clinic, your clinic, at Dr. Olobidi's. And thank you so very much.
Welcome back. I'm Jon Garlick. I'm here with National Mayor of the Year, Alberta McCrory, Mayor of Hopson City. Show us your plaque, because that's an amazing thing.
I mean, it is an amazing
This is just a
You know, when I was a kid in school, you know, we had black heroes and heroines on our wall, and Booker T. Washington was one of those pictures. And I was just thinking about that earlier. Booker T. Washington, Nanny Burroughs, who was with the Black Women's Club, who'd done a lot, and Ida B. Wells, I remember those people, and George Washington Carver, and I was just thinking, you know, never thinking that one day I would be receiving an award named for him, and that I would be part of carrying on his legacy.
100 years from now, you'll be one of those names
Yes.
up there with Booker T. Washington and all the others.
And so, you know, and I thought about that, and I shared with the young lady that I read up from slavery, which was the autobiography of Booker T. Washington. And, you know, he was a very controversial figure back in the early 1900s because of how he felt about integration and, you know, black people and education and training. He thought that we would do better with the vocational things and working with our head, hearts, and hands, and the equality would come later. And but he said, you know, instead of people leaving home, so to speak, you know, cast down your buckets where you are. And I see that. I understand that, and I understand that we can't all stay at home. We got, you know, that was before the big migration and all of that. But what he was saying is that you can make it where you are. And he believed in hard work, and of course a lot of black people didn't, not that we didn't believe in hard work, but we were used to doing hard work for free.
Right.
And so that was a problem with people thinking that maybe you don't want us to educate it. But he was an educated man, and he did a lot for race relations behind the scene, even though he wasn't one of those people who are out there. And we know him mostly for his work at Tuskegee, being the first president and laying that foundation for, you know, one of the biggest universities that we have and better that we have in the country, you know.
So maybe we get a university in Hopson City.
Yeah. Well, you know, Hopson City was considered for the VA hospital that's now in Tuskegee.
Oh, really?
Back, I read that somewhere back in the history of the town some years ago. And we don't know what happened that they didn't consider Hopson City any further. But then, too, during that time, Hopson City was really progressing. And we had the school there, and, you know, they taught the other skills that, some of the skills that Booker T. Washington talked about, you know, the brick masonry, the carpentry, things like that, and cabinet making and all those kinds of things, the sewing, the cooking, the canning, and everything, all those things that you need to survive. And so Hopson City was doing well during that time, you know. And in no later years, we had this park area that people all across the state of Alabama and other places came to visit Hopson City because it was a free town, so to speak. And, you know, we had our police department, had a swimming pool in the park, baseball field. Willie Mays came to that baseball field, and a lot of the black barons came and played there in Hopson City. So, you know, there's just this rich history that this little town over here in Alabama has. And, And it grieves my spirit sometimes when I meet people and they say they've never heard of Hopson City. You know, how could you not have heard of Hopson City?
Well, you're building on that foundation, and I remember a few months ago I was at the FEMA building in Hopson
Right.
City, and you had a consultant come in.
Right. So we've been working with Renee Kemp Roton. Renee has her own little history. She's the first black to graduate from Syracuse University School of Architect, and did so after the Urban League had encouraged the white Ivy League schools to enroll black students. And so she was one of those students. Came from a family of doctors and lawyers, and they thought she was off of Little Rocks when she decided to become an architect. She worked with the Africatown project down in Africatown. And so we are fortunate to have her. She's been out here working with black towns and settlements for a long time. And so we have developed a plan for building out the museum, our gym for cultural events and other things. And we don't have a industrial park.
Right.
And so we want to take that old school building and repurpose it for maybe business incubator. Even you can have some kind of training, since it was a school anyhow.
Sure. So kind of build on Booker T's.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, City of Oxford created. I'm not going to remember the acronym, but they have a brand new skills and trade thing that they've just started in Oxford, and of course we've got the trade schools and all coming up. There's a big demand for skilled trades, and I think that would be wonderful to do.
Yes, because you know, when we start looking for someone to repair water lines, it's very hard to find.
Yeah.
Electricians are very hard to find.
Yep.
You know, when we need plumbers in your home, it's very hard to find a reasonable plumber.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you see, you know, there are a lot of plumbers out there, but there are not a lot of plumbers in the African American community. Right. We don't see a lot of young men. I see some going into welding more so than your plumbing and your electrician, things of that nature. Heating and air.
We have the incubator. We have a couple of industrial sites throughout Anderson. We've got the small business incubator in Golden Springs, but I think that's done by the economic development people.
Economic development.
They should. Are you talking to them about considering putting one in Hopson City then?
Not recently. When I first took office, you know, and that was before the sewing plant got into such disarray, when something could have really been done cheaper and quicker. Harper did come out there and look at that building, and I think before I took office, Eric Stringer and the Hopson City Economic Development people had invited Congressman Rogers down to Hopson City, and so nothing materialized. So I think we need to go back and have that conversation.
Again. Who owns that building, the old sewing?
We own it. The city owns it. Yeah. What happened when the young man who was there, who had the print shop, and they moved their business, moved out of that building into someplace else over here in Oxford, and I'm not sure he's still in that business or not. But at any rate, there was. The business ended up in the hands of the state. The building did.
Oh, okay.
And so we contacted the state and tried to purchase it. First, we went through it was in receivership with a company in Birmingham, and we contacted them and wanted to know how we could, you know, get the building. And we sent some honest money, and that didn't work. And so it took us about 2 or 3, maybe 4 years before we were able to get that building. And then it went back into the state's hand, and so they gave us the price, which was not very much, I think less than $5,000. So I've convinced the council that, if we're going to have some kind of control and decide what's going to come into our city. And we've had people who want to buy it for nothing.
Right.
And we don't want to sell it for nothing. We know that it can be, more beneficial to the community if we can get somebody to come in there.
How many square feet is that?
I don't know. In fact, Mr. Green was supposed to, he knows, and he's supposed to be giving me some information on that. And those are the kind of things that I need to know and keep in my head. So when I'm out here talking about people, because we had someone with the Black Chamber came over from Birmingham, went down and looked around and so forth. And so we want to see what else we can do. And there's another young lady who, she and her husband flip houses, and so she was interested in opening a business there and having a place to store her flooring materials and things like that. So some people have asked, but they have not come with the right price for me. So
I think you have a long-term plan that maybe that square footage would be more beneficial for.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Certainly, the National Mayor of the Year, Alberta McCrory, from our own Hopson City, right here in Calhoun County. We're so very proud of you.
Well, thank you.
And we continue to be proud of Hopson City.
Thank you so very much. And you know what? I'm proud of me too.
You should be.
I just look back at, coming up in Hopson City and just how, God can just take you, a little girl from Hopson City, and just place you, elevate you. You don't have to elevate yourself. You just go on and do your work, and it's going to come.
Well, thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching another segment of Meet the Newsmakers. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
You may not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 2324 Silverado light duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 24 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox, 24 models. You got it, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Look, have you ever had a bank give you money for anything? Family Savings actually pays me for keeping my money at their credit union. I earn interest of 3% APY on my checking account and 1.5% APY on my savings, just for what I was already doing at my old bank. I even get up to $20 per month in ATM fee returns. It's kind of nice to get paid for just using my checking account.
Open an Engage account at Family Savings Credit Union and get rewarded. Family Savings, your best financial friend.
Penguins Bar and Grill. Come down for our amazing bar, stocked with everything you could want, and our amazing food, ranging from whole pizzas all the way to oysters. Our food is cooked fresh and brought to you with amazing service. For the best food and drinks, come to Penguins Bar and Grill.
At Alexandria Brake and Muffler, we strive to perform exceptional service using premium quality parts to ensure your vehicle withstands the test of time. We do all automotive maintenance and repairs consisting of AC service, check engine light diagnostics, brakes, coolant, and exhaust. Give us a call today. Proudly serving our community to provide honest, high-quality service and repair at a fair price.
At Family Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Olubidi. I would like to welcome you to our clinic, which is virtually your clinic. We strive to provide a family environment from our nurses as well as the practitioners we have in the clinic to serve you and your family members. We pride ourselves for having state-of-the-art facility here in the clinic to include ultrasound, fibroscan to check on your liver. We welcome you in our clinic, your clinic, at Dr. Alobidi's. And thank you so very much.
What can you buy for $10? A hat? A milkshake? 166 channels plus live sports? That's right, for only $10 you can get 166 channels of classic TV shows and movies, including the latest news update from all around the world and local sports. Just simply go to 24ctn.com and click download, and then for only $10 you can have access to the best TV available.